Hello, children. I hope all of you are fine and are doing well. So, today, what are we going to read? We are going to read about how are we going to attempt the essay. So, there are many complications in our mind that how I'm going to start the essay, how I'm going to end it, what should be included in my essay randomly, which I speak. Should I include those things in our essay or not? So this all things will be cleared in this video. Do not worry about it. So when we talk about essay writing, it is generally of two categories. The first one is practical writing and the second comes imaginative. Clear? In the practical writing, you will get to know, like if you're writing about the facts or something which is not related with the thoughts or feelings, it's just exactly what you need to explain. Okay, how to bake a cake, so there you are not going to express your feelings while baking a cake. Only you know the exact things, these many ingredients are required, and this is the procedure we need to follow while we are baking the cake. Next one, the second category is imaginative writing. Now imaginative writing itself means the way we imagine, okay, the creative ideas which comes in our mind, those things should be included in this. Now again, this imaginative writing is again of many other categories. I'll be discussing in all the other videos as well. This videos particularly deals with the short story writing. Okay, so here you may see how to write a short story. Okay, so when I talk about ICSE, so this question you need not spend more than 30 minutes in this, and the word limit here is 300 to 350 words. Okay, so be very careful. It's a short story, so you need not write unnecessary stuffs around there. Things which are important, only those things you need to write here. Okay, when I say you about a short story, it's all about the imagination. Okay, it's all depending on the author's imagination. Now as there are so many different people, all are having their unique capabilities, their unique creative thinking, so definitely each one's stories are going to be different, isn't it? Definitely, yes. So we all narrate stories to our family all the time. Yes, we are narrating each other what we have done, like what others have done. Sometimes we read a book and the story, we are retelling the story, or any film or like that. Sometimes an incident or accident, whatever you have seen, you narrate those things to the other person. Clear? So at that moment, so we can say that those narration are like the short stories. But one thing you need to keep in mind, that not exactly I will say that narrations are the short stories. No, there are some things which we need to keep in mind while writing a short stories. Now it requires a perfect planning. Whenever you are writing short stories, it should be well planned. Okay, you should have a very careful thinking what you are going to write. And as I told you that not everyone works in the same way, not everyone's brains are the same. So different authors or different writers use different way of writing. But then when I'm dealing here, I'm giving you the most easy way, like in which manner you should write, and it will be helpful to you, and you can use it for your future way as well. So this is, I'll say, the traditional pattern. Okay, and it's not just useful but effective as well. So it should be logical event, whatever you are writing, it should be logically true. And there you should not include so many stories all together in a one. As you know, this is a short stories and the word limit is also there, plus the time limit is there, so we cannot waste our time in that. Okay, so just make it short and simple, but then it should be effective for the reader. Let's move on. So first thing first, determining the theme. Okay, when I talk about the theme, I want to express the moral. Okay, the moral, what moral do the story is giving. Okay, so that thing should be in your mind, and it should be able to convey the message through the story itself. Okay, now it doesn't mean that you will be writing the message in the story that yes, my story deals with this theme. No, 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 not that. The way the story is developing, and at the end, the reader must be able to understand by themselves. It's by themselves that yes, the narrator wants to narrate in this manner, and this is what the story wants to mean. Okay, so they should be able to comprehend the message themselves. Now, I would not say that every story you will find about the message. There are stories which do not bother anything about the message. Okay, they simply tell more about the characters, or we can say the incident, or there are some surprise which is left at the for the end. Okay, at the end you will find them. So it's all up to your writing, but it's better while you are attending in your exam the story writing questions. So be very careful, and if you are having a theme, be appropriate, in an appropriate manner, try to convey the theme to the readers. Now, the second point or the second step, what you are going to do is outlining the plot. Okay, now here there are other steps as well underneath this, that you have to set up a situation. Now, you need to think in your mind that out of what situation the story will begin. Okay, and you have to think about the beginning lines and how the story is developing steadily and gradually. The characters will appear, they will interact in the situation. So these all things, the setup of the situation which will be there, that should be in your head. Okay, now after setting up the situation, you need to introduce a complication or conflicts. Now you need to think that what happened, what were the events which led to the conflict. Okay, what conflicts were there within the characters, or in the characters, what they were facing, what they were encountering at that moment. Because of the conflicts and complication, the events will grow more, and you will find more and more interaction of the characters, isn't it? Develop the crisis. Because of the conflict, what happened there? Okay, the you will get more and more ideas at that moment, that yes, because of this reason, this crisis happened, as a result, because of which it led up to a climax, which means that because of the crisis there happened a climax. Now climax is the highest point of interest. Now if you have seen a movie and all, when you see the climax of the story, you feel like okay. So there are many places in our mind when we think that okay, how this happened, how was it possible. So this is a surprise element, I would say. Okay, and the last thing which you need to do is, as soon as you reach the climax, I would suggest that you need to bring the story to the close. Now because of the climax, what happened, what was the end result? Now is there any characters change? Do they change in their personality? Do they realize something in them? Or because of one character, the other character was feeling something, there was an influence among them. So these things should be described in the ending part, or you can say the story when you close the story at that moment. Let me tell you, I don't know if you have read this story or not, The Gift of Maggie. So it's O. Henry's story. So here, what happened, I hope you all have remembered, the situation was that both the couples were struggling very hard to survive. Okay, and the complication was that the next day was Christmas, and they both had no money to give presents to each other. The crisis in this story was the wife. Okay, sold her beautiful hair to buy the chain for the watch of her husband, because the watch didn't have the chain. So she wanted to gift that chain to the husband. So she was anxiously waiting for the moment that yes, when the husband will return, she will be giving the chain to him, and that will be a very good Christmas present for him. But the climax was that when the husband came, she came to know that the man has already sold his watch in order to buy combs for the beautiful hair of his wife. So they discover that they did not they were like a temporary value to them, because see, the for the watch we were talking about, now already the man has sold his watch, so what's the use of the chain? Same goes with the women. The wife also did the same thing. She had a very long beautiful hair, but what she did, she sold her hair in order to bring the chain. and now the man has brought a beautiful comb. So what's the use of those things? Those gifts were not that valuable now. So, as a whole, at last we realize that there is no temporary value, but they realize there is a great love for each other. So, I would say this is how, when you write a story, you need to keep these things in your mind, and easily you will be able to write a short stories, and definitely it will be effective when you're writing. The next step comes developing a character. Now there will be many characters, they are the people in the story, and the whole story would be revolving around them. Okay, they are living, they should, basically the way you write, it should definitely express that yes, they are like a normal people, they are doing some work, and not like a moving puppets or like that. So what you need to keep in mind while developing the character, that that yes, they are not the puppets, and you need to show them like a living characters. Okay, like how we see them in a real life, and we should be able to picture them very clearly in our mind while we are reading the story. That moment only you should show in such a manner that the reader will be able to know that yes, this character is thinking in this manner, this character can feel like that, what he's saying, what he's gonna do next. So everything, this increases the realistic touch. Okay, so definitely you need to add these things in your story, it will help you out. You can add, see, I would not say that whatever the character is, you have to write exactly he is doing this, he is nervous. Now here depends on your creative writing, the way you write. So I would say you have to show the things rather than tell about the characters. You have to write in such a manner while reading it, the readers are very clear that yes, in this manner the character is, and the readers are getting a very clear idea about the characters. Okay, so that is why I would say developing a character is a very important part of the story. Like you have to describe, or you can say what the character look like, the education, what kind of surroundings he like. Okay, okay, and how he or she behaves, the vocabulary, the way that character is speaking, or the words he or she is using, the other characters, how are they reacting to this character. So this thing, all things you can remember and just use it while you are writing the essay. The next step is establishing the setting. Now that is also a very important thing. Okay, the time, the place and the circumstances, so under which the story is taking place. Now you need to provide a background or the circumstances. Okay, a very good if you, when you read, I don't know, if you're reading, like you should read. So when you read more and more storybooks, you'll get to know the narrators, the authors and the writers, they, when they write, no, they describe it in a very beautiful manner. Now how you say those things are as beautiful? Because the setting, they tell you every minute details about the setting, which makes you read more. Okay, so this is what is important. If you are establishing the setting well, definitely the readers will be more interested to read your story. So this is very important, and try to use it in a full. You can even give some sensory impressions as well, like what kind of thing the characters are seeing, or the narrator is able to see at that moment. The sight should be clear, the smell, you can even use the sound and the taste, everything should can be described. Okay, that definitely adds uh, like beauty to the writing. And the last one is writing. Now all these things you have done, you have already thought the theme, then comes, you have already outlined the plot in which manner you are writing the story, then comes the character, you have understood these many characters are there, each of them differ from each other, and the next you have already established the setting. The last steps comes writing. Now you have to put all those things together. Now here I would say dialogue. Okay, dialogues and all, when you are adding in your story, it brings life. to the characters. Okay, since this is a short story, you cannot add very long dialogues. Okay, you have to use both the dialogues as well as the narration. Okay, then it will look more beautiful. So you can use dialogues. First thing, when you are writing, you need to begin well. Now, if you consider yourself a reader and you started reading a book, a novel, now the beginning should be in such a manner that you are able to read more, like you are paying so much attention, and now you feel the urge. Now you're feeling that yes, I have to read the story, now I need to know what exactly next thing is gonna happen. So this is how, if you are beginning well, definitely the reader will feel the same. So this can be done. If you are writing in that manner, you should be able to catch the reader's attention. Okay, so beginning should be well, as well as ending must be well. Now story, like a natural ending, okay, like simply you are saying and at last nothing was clear and you stop the story. No, no, not like that. It should give like a completeness feeling, that whatever you have written, it's completed. Okay, it should not leave the reader like they are sad or they are unhappy or they are still wondering, okay, what basically the writer wants to say. That confusion must not be there in the mind of the reader. So as soon as I told you earlier while telling you about the climax, that when you reach the climax, it is better you end the story as soon as possible. Okay, so this is how you are going to write the story. Okay, I hope this was helpful. One more thing I would say, that when you are writing a story, the few questions like what all things basically are included in your ICSCR. Like it may say that you have to write a story based on a theme. They can give you a theme, and based on that you have to write a story. Other way they can give you is, they will give you one line. Okay, the beginning line would be given to you, and they will say that you have to write an original story beginning with these lines. Okay, you have to continue with that. Or there are some cases, later cases, when the story, whatever short stories they are, you have to write, they'll give you some incomplete outlines, that the small part of the story they will give you, and then it is all up to you how you are going to uh, make it a short stories, and how you are going to present those outlines in your own way. So I hope you have understood till here. Thank you so much for watching. Have a great day ahead.